When I was a kid, every weekend, my mother would take me to get Chinese food takeout, and while we waited for the food to be cooked, we'd hit the video rental store next door. I was given a lot of free rein, and so naturally I gravitated towards the forbidden fruit, horror movies. One VHS tape a week, year after year, amounted to a love of the genre and a deep respect for its roots. Dracula, Frankenstein, The Invisible Man, The Creature from the Black Lagoon, all the classics. To create a game that captures the nostalgia of those classic movies while weaving them together into a fun experience would be quite a feat. Thankfully, Ravensburger was up to the task. Horrified is a cooperative pick-up-and-deliver game with an interesting twist. In the game, you play heroes with unique abilities looking to protect their village from an onslaught of monsters. The twist comes in the form of variable rules depending on which monsters you are up against. Each monster has unique powers, and the rules for how to thwart them. For example, if you defeat Dracula, you'll need to smash all of his coffins and then face off against the vampire lord himself. Frankenstein and his bride work differently. You need to keep them apart until you can raise their humanity levels. Once they top out their humanometer, you bring them together and they will wander off in the throes of true love, or the monster equivalent. The mummy involves a sliding puzzle, the wolfman needs a cure. Each monster brings its own flavor and level of complexity to the game, meaning each time you play can feel very different just by mixing in a new monster. The main action of the game is moving from location to location, picking up items that can be used against the monsters or escorting villagers to safety through the streets. Villagers are great. If you get them to their desired location, they'll reward you with perk cards, which are one-time use powers, super useful. The challenge is the monsters will inevitably attack. They'll target unattended villagers or heroes, and the only way to protect yourself is by throwing away your precious items. Run out of items, and you get sent to the hospital. If that happens, or when a villager dies, the terror level goes up. If the terror level maxes out, everyone is too horrified, and we abandon the village to its terrible, monster-ridden fate, thus losing the game. You can also lose the game by running out of cards. This is the monster deck, and it acts as a timer. If you ever need to draw a card and there are none left, you run out of time to save the village. Cue old-timey horror scream clip. On the flip side, if you manage to defeat all the monsters with their various requirements, you win! I really like Horrified. It's a clever take on the pick-up and delivery genre that can be ramped up or down depending on the level of difficulty you feel like facing. You want to dip your toes into some classic horror movie fun? Take on 2 monsters. Looking for a nail-biter where the likelihood of success is slim? Throw 4 monsters into the mix. It's really up to you. Which monsters you face off against will change your victory conditions, and with 6 monsters and 7 unique heroes to mix together, you'll have plenty of combinations to choose from. Because of its design, Horrified is also interesting, as it gets easier towards the end of the game. The more monsters you beat, the less pressure is put on the characters. Taking that into consideration, I think Horrified is good for a more casual group, especially since we found that the difficulty overall was pretty light. When you take down Dracula, you can celebrate the win instead of chewing on your nails worrying about how the game will get revenge. And regardless of the monster, the core gameplay is always basically pick up and deliver, making Horrified a really thematic example of the genre. On the other hand, Horrified is just begging for an expansion that features truly brutal monsters and more unique heroes. Overall, Horrified is a fun, cooperative game that will appeal to a wide variety of players and has a really great production. Do I wish that characters had their own minis instead of standees? Sure, but that's a minor ding on what's otherwise a really great game. We recommend Horrified for fans of cooperative games that aren't looking for a particularly brutal challenge. And that's it! Thanks for watching. If you want more reviews, check out either of these playlists. And to subscribe to Gameosity, click that G. Remember to ring the bell for notifications. And please, consider joining our Patreon. Your support makes a huge difference.